Mark from the States, Mark from the States, it's Mark from the United States.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Mark from the States. How are we doing today? I'm doing fantastic. I hope you are as well. Thank you so much for coming. I've got a big fake couch here. Please come and hang out with me today. Today, we continue our series of the prettiest towns across the land. Today's county is Northamptonshire. Northamptonshire. I don't know really, of course. I don't know much. It'll be interesting to see if I know any of these or have heard of any of these places. So that's always interesting. Of course, as always, I would love if you're from anywhere that we talk about or learn about today. Please send me an email, put it in the chat, in the comments. Let me know what your town's all about. Also, before we continue, if you have a like or subscription to give, I have 2 links below. Please, not on our channel. I mean, you can if you'd like, but I encourage you to go give it to the original content creator. Alex in Britain is the channel. Alex in Great Britain, really, is the channel name. Alex has been gracious enough to allow us to learn and watch his videos, and so I encourage you to get over there and support him. A like, subscription, comment, all those things help his channel. So use the links below and get over there and support his channel. Important. Yes? It's been a week. It's been a week here for us. I had we were back in Vegas just this last weekend. We just drove on Saturday morning, came back Sunday afternoon, had a wonderful time. It was my wife and I's anniversary. Went and saw a concert out there, stayed at the Fontainebleau. Now, I should have done a video from there. That place is nice. Very different than the Rio, which is, more economy. The Fontainebleau, which, by the way, we got free rooms. A free room, so we didn't have to pay for it, but they're usually $600, $700 a night for, especially on a Saturday. Plus, they had the big fight at Allegiant Stadium. That's where the Raiders play. Big fight that night. They also had the Raiders were playing last night, Monday, so they had a lot of people in town. And the hotel itself was pretty crowded, but it was awesome. A lot going on in Vegas this past Saturday with the events happening. And most of all, it was my anniversary to my lovely bride, and we had such an amazing time at the concert. We had a lot of fun. A lot of fun. So, of course, you all know what had happened earlier in the week on the 10th with the tragic news with Charlie Kirk. Don't care how you feel about him. That's not what this point is. It's just wrong. But I saw some videos of the big march you all had there in London. Wow, that was a lot of people. So a lot going on. It'd be interesting to see how this goes from here. So crazy times, but let's dip out of that just for a little bit and kind of just not think about it and learn about Northamptonshire, right? Okay, please come sit and let's jump into the box. Here I am, and here we go.
Around the convergence of 4 different regions of England is the county of Northamptonshire, a county whose lack of fame is frankly baffling, considering that it boasts some of the finest stonemasonry in the country, giving the Cotswolds more than a run for its money. But what are its prettiest towns? To establish this, I visited them all personally, and my conclusions are presented to you in this top 10 list. As per the rules of this series, villages are not included for consideration as there are just too many of them. Cities are included though, but to date, no towns in the county have been given the royal upgrade, making that one a moot point. So
Okay.
let's get straight to it.
Easy enough.
Number 10. We start off with a town whose obscure claim to fame comes courtesy of a group of disgruntled cobblers. Or is that cordwainers? Either way, the town is Raunds. In common
Rawns.
with many of the towns of Northamptonshire, Raunds once had a thriving
Shoe. Okay, I was just gonna say cobbler. Shoe business. Okay, shoe industry where they made shoes there. Rawns.
shoemaking industry.
Okay.
In 1905, a group of over 100 army bootmakers marched from here to London to protest their working conditions following a downturn in demand in the aftermath of the Second Boer War. The town also features this perfectly normal street name. In all honesty, though, this isn't a world-beating town in the looks department, but garners a spot mainly due to a lack of any major 20th century monstrosities and sets the pace for this particular county list, which in terms of aesthetics goes from 0 to 60, similar to something you might see on the Silverstone circuit, but enough foreshadowing for now. Number 9. Next is another erstwhile giant of the shoemaking industry, the town of Rushden. At its
Rushden,
peak, around
no?
100
Oh, I
boot
love
and
that.
shoemaking factories operated in Rushden. Very little of the industry remains today, save for one holdout, namely Sanders and Sanders, who still ply their cordwaining craft in the town to this day. Rushden's high street resembles one you might see in a typical railway town, but with one key distinction. There's no railway
I
station.
knew it.
The town's former station served its final passengers in 1959, even before Richard Beeching could get his axe out, leaving over 30,000 residents of the town today dependent on buses or cars. However, a much more shocking
Oh,
transport-related revelation awaits at the end of this video.
Ooh.
Number 8. Now to a town whose main claim to fame is Weetabix, Burton Latimer. This is a town situated a convenient distance from Kettering to the north and Wellingborough to the south for commuting purposes,
Old
but with a
Victoria.
small town charm that's lacking in the two aforementioned. A few buildings showcase the distinct style of stonework that appears to be indigenous to Northamptonshire, while the parish church of St Mary is one of many religious edifices in the county sporting a grand spire, which will soon become apparent. It's not without its flaws, granted, but all in all, a rather visually pleasant town centre for this behemoth of the breakfast cereal industry. Number 7. Next up, a town with something macabre lying quite literally beneath its very surface, Rothwell. This small town of just over 8,000 residents was once one of the county's largest, a fact which underpins its vast history. At its heart is the Church of Holy Trinity, dating back to the 12th century. Beneath the church is one of only 2 ossuaries, or bone crypts, in England, the other being in Hythe in Kent. So for a small fee, you can marvel at the skeletal remains of thousands of long since deceased individuals. Or if you're not in the mood for paying homage to the Reaper just yet, you can check out Market Hill, where you'll find an architectural standout in the form of Rothwell Market House, dating from the middle of the Elizabethan era.
I am digging that building. That is cool looking. So they have just, like, you can pay money to go see the bones of, what do you say, monks? Interesting. I mean, what are you going to do there? I guess, right? Is kind of. But that building is nice.
Either way, this compact historic market town has an undeniably elegant look to it. Make no bones about it, so to speak. Number
See what you
6.
did there.
Here's the first of 2 entries for the Roman road enthusiasts out there. The town of Daventry. Situated just slightly west of Watling Street, the Roman road running from the coast of Kent to Wroxeter in Shropshire, it's this road, or rather its turnpike upgrade from the Stuart era, that accounts for Daventry's historic coaching in trade. And with a high street so generously scattered with listed buildings, you can almost forgive the not pictured perfunctory outdoor shopping centre cum car park cum bus station just behind it. The town
Ah,
also boasts a unique looking parish church on account of it dating from the 1750s, namely the Church of the Holy Cross. Number 5.
that the church, you know, just looking at the stonework, it's pretty cool looking. It's kind of different. It just, when you look at it, it just looks different than a lot of the others that you see. And there's no like big, like church yard, in front. Maybe there's one behind it, but you have these buildings here that just really kind of butt right up to it. It's just interesting placement.
The Church of the Holy Cross. Number 5. Now we have the next door neighbour to our earlier number
Oh, look at
9
that.
entry of
That
Rushton,
is very
Higham
noticeable.
Ferrers.
Higham Ferrers.
While it's less than a mile which separates these two town centres, the aesthetic shift is tangible. The dominant building
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
material
whoa.
moves
Did he say less than a mile between the two town centers of the one we just looked at?
The aesthetic shift is tangible. The dominant building material moves away from Victorian and
Wow.
Edwardian brick and into Georgian coursed limestone, and naturally, the stunning parish church is par for the course at this point. The church
Yeah.
in question here dates from the 13th century and is dedicated to St Mary. Its spire, rebuilt in the 17th century, can be seen all the way from the other neighbouring town of Irthlingborough, which, by the way, narrowly missed out on a spot on this list, in
Oh,
case anyone's wondering.
wait, that's a third town that's really close. So there's like these three towns literally right next to each other. Interesting.
Then there's Chichele College, founded in 1422 as a college for
Wow.
secular canons, giving an additional medieval flavour to
Look at the
this medieval
faces.
market town. Number 4. Now, if this list were about greatest town names in Northamptonshire, this one would win hands down. I'm speaking, of course, of Toaster. In common
Toaster.
with Daventry, seen earlier,
Now I would look at that and there'd be no way I'd get Toaster. It would be Towchester, Towchester, Toaster. That's awesome. Love it. Love it. Toaster. To kind of go back on that the three towns should all join forces, become one large town, and then try to become a city. I know that it's not based on size, but it helps.
Toaster's history ties
Toaster.
in with the Roman road known as Watling Street, but unlike Daventry, this street dissects the town centre itself. Toaster's lack of a bypass, in terms of the A5, feels like a deliberate decision to preserve its history, from its Roman days when it was known as Lactodurum, through to the golden era of the stagecoach in Georgian times, when a major road through a town was seen as an advantage rather than a detriment. Some of the architectural highlights include the medieval Church of St. Lawrence and the Italianate-style town hall. Striking though it may be, it does effectively disqualify the town as a potential Jane Austen filming location, being that it dates from 1865. Also, the
It's
numerous
practically new.
bikers bound for Milton Keynes helped to break that particular immersion, but nevertheless, Toaster is a town, that knows which side its bread is buttered. Number 3.
I see what he
Next
did
we
there.
have what must surely be Northamptonshire's best kept secret, the town of Thrapston.
Thrapston.
Situated a little under 10 miles from both Kettering and Corby,
Thrapston.
Thrapston has virtually nothing in common with these former giants of the shoemaking and steel industries respectively. Instead, its history revolved around lighter industries and was once a staging post on the Cambridge to Birmingham route prior to the arrival of the railways. The parish church of St James is one we can describe at this point as Northamptonshire-esque, which also works as a descriptor for some of the fine stone architecture. The visual appeal of Thrapston's High Street
King's
goes some way
Arms.
towards making up for the lack of public transport options, what with only 6 daily buses from Kettering 6 days a week calling here. Number 2. Our runner-up spot goes to a town in the heart of Formula One country, Brackley. Whilst the
Brackley.
Silverstone circuit is slightly closer to Towcester than Brackley, and Silverstone itself being a village disqualifies it from this list, it's Brackley that has the arguably stronger connection to F1, what with being the headquarters of Mercedes-AMG Petronas.
Really?
Aside from the world of motorsport, Brackley is a dead ringer for any number of towns you might find in the Cotswolds, which does stand to reason somewhat, being that it's only about 20 miles outside of its eastern fringe, and also had a similarly prosperous wool trade during the medieval era.
Pretty.
The town's high street is among some of the broadest in the country, and is punctuated at its southern end by a fine ashlar stone town hall, dating back to the reign of Queen Anne. So a podium finish for Brackley, but not quite the checkered flag in this case. That instead goes to...
Can you guess number 1? Honesty here. We're working on the honor program. Guess what's number 1? I actually like Brackley. It's really nice. I mean, they're all nice, don't get me wrong. None of them are not nice. But yeah, definitely number 1's really going to have to be a lot better, but I'm really digging Brackley, and not because it has that F1 connection. Take that out. Maybe it's because it resembles the Cotswolds, maybe. Interesting.
Number 1. At the complete opposite end of the county to Brackley is a town that has to be seen to be believed. Oundle. The first sight to greet you on your approach, at least from the direction of Peterborough, is the 64-metre or 210-foot tall spire of the Church of St Peter. But Northamptonshire's tallest spire is just the auspicious beginning. The town centre is simply a vision in honey-coloured stone, making for an all the more pleasant experience just browsing the various independent shops. At the northern end of the town is Oundle School, a Tudor-era public school once graced by Bruce Dickinson of Iron Maiden fame.
Nice.
It's hard to overstate just how well put together this town is. Every building appears as a natural continuation of the next. Heck, even the X4 bus to Peterborough blends in with the stonework. Speaking of transport, I did promise a shocking revelation earlier, and here it is. Not one of the 10 towns you've seen here has a railway station. Not a single one. So in this county of former shoemaking towns, it turns out it's the rail industry that's in fact a load of old cobblers. For now though, we close out on a town that I believe to be not just the finest in Northamptonshire, but on a par with some of the finest in the country. Finally, if you'd like to catch up with other counties covered in the series so far, check out the link on the screen now. Thanks for watching, and
thank you, Alex. Appreciate it. Let me jump out. Oundle. Oundle, yes. Very, very nice. Brackley, I believe that's how you pronounce that, which was number 2. I think, yeah, it's tough. I'm going to have to go just to settle. which one I like best, but this might be the first county where I've never heard of any of the town names before. At least I can't remember if I have. And they do look similar. Cobbler industry, okay. Interesting that no trains. There's no train stations, which is interesting. And I want to go back to this. Let me jump back out again. Just seeing, here's London. Yes, I'm assuming that's London right there with the dot. So it's not close, but it's not terribly far. And no train station. So I assume there's a highway that's nearby, obviously. So I don't know, what would be the distance here? If you were to get in a car and drive, what would be the time it would take to get to, we'll just say Aundel. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. But yeah, very cool. It's always nice to see and experience new things when I'm watching these top tens. I appreciate. Many thanks to Alex. Please go and support him. Use the links below and get over there and support him. But it's interesting, and it'll be interesting if any of you are from any of these places. Please let me know. And if you could, tell me something a little more that he didn't cover. I get that the tourism is their main source of income, I'm guessing. I don't know. Let me know if they still don't make shoes there. There's the breakfast cereal, Weetabix. Is that what he said it was? Or one of the towns had a connection there, so that has a lot of work. If they produce it there or whatever, they probably have a lot of jobs there and that sort of thing. It just seems like very sleepy towns, as we would call them. Beautiful. There's nothing wrong aesthetically. They're not going to wow you, but there's certainly, or is this a county that is kind of one of those, yeah, with no major city. So, yeah, interesting. Let me know if you've been to any of these, if you're from there, if you're currently living there now. Interesting. There's so many counties. And there's so many. Got a long way to go. Hope everybody's happy, healthy, and safe. Let me jump out if I haven't already. Happy, healthy, and safe. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate each and every one of you. I know it's been about a week since my last video, so I appreciate the patience. It's been crazy, as you can imagine. So we'll be back. I hope to see you. All right, take care. Let me know. Bye.
Mark from the States, Mark from the States, it's Mark.